All right, back working on the bed extender, and what I need to do now is take these cutoffs and cut them to fit right here. So I'm going to mark these, and then I'm going to cut them on the table saw. All right, so to attach this, I'm going to be able to screw in from the bottom here. Here on this long side, I'm going to use biscuits to help keep that in alignment. I'll go ahead and mark my locations. And go ahead and cut my biscuit slots. Get those cleaned up, and we can start getting this glued up. So as soon as that dries, I'll get that screwed in from the bottom, and then I'll get my router and I'll finish rounding over all of the edges, and that'll clean up, you know, things like this right here, this little chip out. That'll get cleaned up, and I'll sand it down, get it nice and smooth. And it would be ready for paint, except I need to cut out some here for the wheel wells. So I'm going to have to do that on both sides. All right, glue up is complete. So now what I want to do is get the sander out and see if I can't sand down some of these rough edges. Okay, so here you can see where I attached my side panel, and here's where I attached my gusset on the bottom. And here's the gusset right here on the side. Same thing on both sides. Got my side panel here, gusset here, and gusset down here. So pretty secure, and it's also pretty sturdy. All right, so the space between my wheel wells is 50 inches. It's actually 50.5 inches, but I'm gonna go with 50 inches because that gives me a 1/4 inch play on either side. And my bed extender is 60 inches, so that means I need to remove 5 inches over on either side. So I'm going to mark my 5 inches on each side. And I need to go down 6 inches. Put that mark here. Okay, get my square. And I don't want it to be square everywhere, so I'm going to make these corners rounded. And that includes this corner. So I should have 3 rounded corners all in all. So it'll come up, and up, and over. I'll do that on both sides, but for now I'll just go with this one. So let me get my jigsaw set up and we'll start cutting. Okay, that's not too bad. I can clean that up with some sanding blocks. So I'll want to duplicate that over on this side as well. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll bring you back. Alright, that's what it's going to look like when it's extended. And when it's inside the bed, it'll look like that. So it should fit between the wheel wells just fine. And it doesn't go all the way over the wheel wells. That's why I only had to go up 6 inches. But I think this is ready for paint. So let me go get some paint and we'll get started on that. That's better. There's the first coat. It's still wet. And because it's so cold in here, it's probably about, I don't know, 36 degrees. I know it's above freezing, but not that much above freezing. So this is going to take a while to dry. Normally, in a warm environment, this would dry in about 15 minutes, but I'm guessing with the temperature, it's going to take an hour or so. But that'll give you an idea of what it's going to look like. Alright, so I've measured where I want to cut off this bolt, and I just measured the thickness of the board that it's going to be going through, and then gave it about a 1/4 inch that's going to be hanging out. So I want it to be this smooth part. That's why I got this longer bolt. It had this longer shoulder. And I'll show you why once I get this put together. But while I'm waiting for the paint to dry, I'm going to go ahead and cut these bolts off. Okay, I've got both of my bolts cut and rounded over and smoothed all the rough edges off. So these are going to be ready to use as pivot points. Alright, so I've got this pin that I want to go ahead and install. So I previously drilled out these holes, and this is really tight. I'm going to see if I can't knock that in. Okay, so you can see it's sticking out about 1/4 of an inch, and that's what I wanted. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so here's my mounting points, but I'm using this one right here. So I need to drill that in on both sides. I've got the same 3 mounting points here, but I'm only going to be using this one. And this is the pin that's going to just go in that hole and allow it to just rotate the way that I need it to. Okay, so you can see how snug this fits up against the sidewall on both sides. So that should make for a nice fit that's tight enough to hold it in place, but loose enough that it allows it to spin freely. Okay, got the one side in, so I just need to get this side in, and we should be ready to test it out. All right, everything looks pretty good. Let me flip it to the other side. All right, so here you can see how it fits around those wheel wells, and it gives a nice deep compartment for loading groceries or boxes, you know, whatever you might need to load in that area. And let's make sure that it doesn't interfere with the pistons for the tonneau cover. Close that down and make sure that everything's still okay. Yep, no problem. So that's going to do it for this project. I think that I'm going to get a lot of good use out of this bed extender. It extends out 8 feet, so I can load 8-foot sheets of plywood or 8-foot lengths of lumber without any problems. So we'll talk to you later.